Good morning, everybody. This is Tao of the Day. This is where we talk a little bit about the Tao. That's right. The Tao, the thing you're not supposed to talk about, is what we're here to talk about. Why aren't we supposed to talk about it? Well, very simply, that talking about it gets you confused as to what it is. The best way I've always felt to get in touch with the Tao is to stop thinking. One of the first, I don't know if it's one of the first. Let me find out what number it is. Um, um, yeah, number 20. I guess I can pick number 20 since we're just here together. Um, so number 20 is, it's early in the Tao. There's 81 verses, so it is within, it's still one of the first ones. It's an early one. We can't deny that. But what we see here is stop thinking and end your problems. Stop thinking and end your problems, and that is the biggest problem with talking about the Tao. Is that we get to thinking, right? We get to thinking about what it says, and if you're thinking about what it says, well, you're missing its point. It's not about what it says; it's about what it's pointing to. The Tao, and I read this, I think it might have been yesterday. The Tao also talks about this idea that, when people lose their sense of awe, they turn to religion. And it is, religion is always pointing to awe. Now, I had exchanged messages with Bo Lotto not long ago, and he said, there's a lot of, at least there's some awe in religion. And I was like, well, of course there is. Religion is pointing to awe, is pointing to the awe of the greatness of God and all of these things. And yet it is not, like, religion is not the point. Religion is a way to it, right? Like, God, guru, and self are all the same, as Ram Dass would say. But here we start number 20 and it says, stop thinking and end your problems. How many of you can really attest to really wanting to do that, and yet you can't? You can't stop thinking in this world. If you stop thinking in this world, you'll immediately start to feel left behind. But that's what the Tao says, and that's why talking about it is difficult, because can you stop thinking? Can you completely stop your thinking and end your problems? And do you think that will work? That's what we start with here. So let's read through number 20. 20 is a little bit longer, so if anybody wants to come up and give me a different number, I'd love to go over that as well. But I'm going to start here with number 20. Stop thinking and end your problems. What difference between yes and no? What difference between success and failure? Must you value what others value? Avoid what others avoid? How ridiculous. Other people are excited as though they were at a parade. I alone don't care. I alone am expressionless, like an infant before it can smile. Other people have what they need. I alone possess nothing. I alone drift about like someone without a home. I am like an idiot. My mind is so empty. Other people are bright. I alone am dark. Other people are sharp. I alone am dull. Other people have purpose. I alone don't know. I drift like a wave on the ocean. I blow as aimless as the wind. I am different from ordinary people. I drink from the Great Mother's breast. Here is the greatness of what the Tao has to offer. So much of the Tao talks about this idea of, you're different. The master is definitely different. And most of us, if we like to think of ourselves as a master, we probably already have a lot more work to do than we think. Here we are, we're talking, other people are dark, I alone am, other people are bright, I alone am dark, other people are sharp, I alone am dull. I love one of the lines that this number 20, other than the first, stop thinking and end your problems. Like, I read that and I had to stop reading the first time I read that. And I was just blown away at the profundity of what that meant. Stop thinking. Like, right? It's almost like, hey, dumbass, you can fix all your shit if you just stop thinking. We all think that we have to go out and do shit all the time. We got to perform shit all the time. We got to make shit all the time. But it's not true. You just got to shut the fuck up. Stop thinking, and your problems will end. The other line in this: other people are excited as though they were at a parade. I alone don't care. I alone am expressionless. I can't tell you how many times people are like, hey, you want to go do this fun thing? And I'm like, oh my God, stab me in the eye with a hot sharp stick. Like I don't want to do that fun thing. I don't want to go throw axes. I don't want to go zip lining through a forest or in a cave or anywhere. I don't care. It's ridiculous. Graciela is going to join me. I will return to number 20 if I can. It says okay, so it looks like she either stepped away or something went awry in that. Okay. Oh, Dr. M is going to join me. Graciela either stepped away or something went awry. Let's see if Dr. M can come up. Dr. M, how are you doing?
Hi, Martin John.
How are you? Are you with
Hello?
me? Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, I can. My volume is okay. Now I should be able to hear you. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, loud and clear. Sorry about that. How
Oh,
are
no,
you?
that's all right. Yeah. On your way to work?
Yes, sir. On my way
Yeah,
to work.
that's right. That's when
Good
we can
memory.
connect. Yes. Wonderful. So, how are things going? We're crossing the midpoint of the year. Is your 2022 all that it was supposed to be for you?
I'm sure, Martin John. Yeah. This year has been significant for me because of a whole lot of new connections and relationships, and all of them because of social audio. So pretty much nearly 100% of my interactions today are with different people than they used to be, about basically all of last year.
Oh, that's great. It's great when we can incorporate something that just injects new people and new energy into our lives. I remember when I started doing portraits, like I would just have these new experiences every day with new people, and it was just it's a challenge, and it can be exhausting to meet new people all the time, but it's always just opening you up to a new version of yourself.
Yes,
It's
yes, very
beautiful.
very much so. It's unpeeling.
Yeah. Yeah, every day there's just a new layer that you can find, and there's back and forth with it, right? Sometimes that layer covers and sometimes that layer uncovers. And so it's important to be able to just experience it and just walk through it. So do we have a number that we want to check out today?
What was that, Martin John?
Oh, yeah, do you have a number for the Dow today?
Oh, sure. What is the to what number do they go?
Oh, up to 81.
81. Okay. Let's do 49.
49. Beautiful. Off we go. All right. So 49 states the master has no mind of her own. She works with the mind of the people. She is good to people who are good. She is also good to people who are not good. This is true goodness. She trusts people who are trustworthy, but she also trusts people who aren't trustworthy. This is true trust. The master's mind is like space. People don't understand her. They look to her and wait. She treats them like her own children. Thoughts?
Yes, is the master referring to the divine being or any master?
So the Tao references the master as a person who understands and follows the Tao, who understands the great master and lives their life according to a reasonable existence, meaning they don't ask the world around them to change. They accept what is and they allow others to be who they are. So that is sort of the master is in Tao. Essentially, the master is someone who has achieved a life that is in accordance with Tao or Brahman, and they so that is how the Tao Te Ching references individuals that have achieved that. They call it references them as master.
Okay, okay. Well, I can tell you that the part about trust, when you were reading that, I was thinking that, oh my gosh, that describes me because I tend to be.
I don't know if it's me or you, but there is some breaking up
Very
happening. Can you hear
trusting.
me?
Most people tends to be that I trust you 100%. I can hear you, Mark and John, but I'm driving through a low reception area. It's not
Okay, so
that
maybe that's just me. I don't know.
any better.
Yeah, it seemed like it was a little better near the end there.
Okay, okay, yes. With people, I tend to trust everyone, 100% until there is a reason not to, I suppose. Um, so I just when you were reading about the master and trust, I thought in the trusting way, maybe I kind of like I thought it could reference like myself, but you know um because I tend to like completely trust you and 100% believe you at the get-go without any without having developed any trust prior to.
Yeah.
So um and I find that that's not standard with people that that they don't start with 100% trust. Maybe that's something that they need time to, I don't know, um time to develop, and feel that, oh, okay, I can trust this person because now I've known them for a while.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like a lot of people I think require just a little like prove to me. Right now, you should prove to me that you're trustworthy from moment to moment, right? Like, okay, this person has done A, B, and C, and so they are worthy of my trust. And yet, even though A, B, and C were done, that person doesn't necessarily have to continue being trustworthy, continue to look as if they are trustworthy. So that could happen at any moment. And when you recognize that that's the case, then even somebody who has proven they're not trustworthy, you can give trust to, to the degree that you're comfortable,
Right.
you know?
Yes. And then there is also a core in everyone that is, however we want to say it, divine, basically, and
Yeah.
and that and it exists in everyone. It's not necessarily shining out as brightly as it can every moment of the day for myself or for another, but it's there. So, well, not to veer off topic, but I feel that if you see that, as in if you choose to see everyone, and I'm not so sure if it's so much a choice, because I've been that way, just I don't know whether it's by upbringing, nature, or both, but I find that if you see the best in people, that they often rise to meet that or to be it, and that that they in a way respond to what you see in them. So if I am
Yes.
interacting with someone and I am judging them, let's say, or in some way seeing something negative in them, that they are more likely to respond in such a way as for me to think that that's confirmed, rather than if I really see the best version of themselves, that then they just even in interaction, that they do rise up to be that. So
You know, I look at that as perception as well, where it's not about them rising up, it's about you perceiving them doing that. Where it's like if you treat someone as if they are worthy of trust, you will see that they are trustworthy.
that they are, yes.
Right. And you know, and that's what this first line references, right? Like, and if we could see the grandeur of these first two lines, the master has no mind of her own. No perception of what is going to be. No concept, no idea of what is going to happen. The master
No
has no
preconceived
mind.
notions.
Right, no preconceived notions. She works with the mind of the people. She
Mm.
works with the mind of those people that she is interacting with. She works with the mind of the people around her. She is good to people who are good. She is also good to people who aren't good. This is true goodness. And when she's good to people who aren't good, she perceives them in a space of being good. The perception that she steps up to this relationship with is coming from a space of quote unquote goodness. She also is good to people who aren't good so that they can step up and they can start to see themselves be good because they
Yes.
are being treated that way. I know for me in my addiction life, when I was treated with respect and noticed it, I finally was able to treat myself with respect.
Yes. 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 When others see you in a positive light, it certainly helps you to see yourself. It helps you to be secure in yourself.
Yeah,
When others are looking at you with a gaze of judgment or negativity of some kind, then if you have insecurities, that might be something that might trigger your insecurities. So absolutely.
yeah.
um and also I was thinking, I think earlier you said the great master, or basically, the divine is the divine shines on everyone,
Hmm.
high and low alike, good and bad alike. Not that the divine would, you know
Define
um
that, right.
define good and bad, but basically, the sun shines on everyone.
Hmm.
And even in spiritual traditions, at least my understanding is that none of them say, be bad even to your enemies, let's say. They say to be loving to all.
Yeah, you know, when you know, I mean, here I grew up in a Roman Catholic tradition, and they say, you know, like, um, love your enemy as yourself, right, or whatever. Like, you know, this idea of like, but once you love thy enemy, when you are loving your enemy, they cease to become an enemy.
Right. Yes,
Right, it immediately says, don't they're not you don't have an enemy,
that's right.
you know. So
That's right.
then, like, this one wraps up with the master's mind is like space, and the first line is the master has no mind of her own, she works with the mind of the people. So the master's mind is like space,
Mhm.
and when we say that, we just say it's space, it's the void. Anything can come in and in it dissolve. Like when you think of infinite space, if you put a pepper, you know, like you put a pepper mill, I don't know why I'm deciding on a pepper mill, but you put a pepper mill in space, you're going to lose it really quick because there's all of this space everywhere and there's no reference to anything else. You know, and
Yes.
that's the thing. Once the mind of the people, like once the mind of the people come in, which is just like, you know, deep in your heart, I am a good person. Well, I'm being treated good by the master. People don't
Yes.
understand her, right? People don't understand how somebody can treat, you know, like yesterday we were talking here in the Chicagoland area, we had a major shooting, another, you know, AR, you know, like a big assault rifle shooting here. Many people, died and were injured, and like it's hard to understand. And we talked about the idea that here is a person who is hurting, and we need to love that person just like we love and care for all the people that were, affected by that. And that's, thousands of people were affected by it, even though, a relatively small number of people were injured or died, or, relatively to thousands and thousands, right? But that's the thing. Like, we have to be able to offer everybody love. They look to her and wait. She treats them like they're her own children.
Yes, yes, and in a way, the person who might commit what might be considered quote unquote wrong or bad, I
Hmm.
mean, that person is in need of love more than someone who may not, you know. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is describing in other spiritual traditions, like it could be stated as that's what it would mean to adopt divine qualities, and that man is created in the image of God means to try to express those attributes, divine attributes. Martin, John, thank you so much for having me up this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. M. I am so grateful for your contribution. And Graciela, let's see if we can get you back up. There you are.
Good morning.
What happened?
Yay, here I am. Here I am. I don't know, the app has been glitching since I joined it this morning.
Oh,
Like I
really?
tried I tried
Oh,
to get up with to go up with Julie and I had to exit the app like 3 times and then she
oh
finally
no.
got it. It's okay. Whatever.
All right. Yeah, we,
Uh
we roll with it. We roll with it. This
Now,
is
did you
this is
take a
how it
break though from Tao of the Day?
No.
Well, every day I come and I search and you're not
No.
there and
There
you're not
there
on
there
my
there
feed
have
either
been there
telling me that
have
you
been
went live.
there have been some days that I haven't made it, like over the last couple weeks. Like I have taken a little bit more. I have been, I have done it for every weekday for, I don't know, 6 8 months or something like that. And like more recently I've been like, you know what, if I miss a day, that's okay. And I've been giving myself a little grace.
Yes,
Yeah.
sure.
And it's
Sure.
just been it's just been because I've been doing a little traveling, and I've been, it's summer, so I'm like, and there hasn't been a day where I've been able to do it and just thought, well, maybe there's been 1 or 2 days that I've been like, I'm not going to do it today. But
Well,
I
I
but I
only
haven't
ask.
I haven't taken a break from it. I'm
Right.
here and being present.
Well, I only I only ask because your Tao of the day is the only reason why I'm here in the mornings. No
Oh,
pressure, no
no
pressure. And it's not
pressure.
because right. And it's not because of Tao of the day either. I'm not here searching for a number or chasing a number. It's because of
Right.
you. I want to
Oh,
talk to you. So I'm
I
just
am
happy
I
that
am
you're
I
live
am so
today.
great. I am as well. I am as well. And yeah, like my birthday was a couple of days ago, like it was like a week ago or something. And so
Happy birthday.
thank you. Yeah. And so, as you say, like, I thought maybe that's what you were referencing, because you're like, I'm so happy you're alive. Um, maybe you're referencing the shooting that happened here
I
now.
am I am happy you're alive. This is
Yeah. Yeah.
madness.
This is, yeah,
Madness.
there's so much, so much,
I mean,
but I
this
am
is why we
alive.
don't go anywhere.
Yeah. It's it's a crazy world out there.
Yeah, and honestly, one of the things we like about going to the parks is that there's metal detectors when you go
Mm,
in,
yeah.
and they check your bags and they check the men's pockets. Like they never, my husband goes through the metal detector and then they do it manually for
Hmm.
him. They don't
Yeah.
do that for me. They let me go through the side because I have the stroller and I get that. So there's that kind of freedom, but they
You
check the
know,
bag and there's that peace of mind, right?
it's interesting that, like in Colombia, two men cannot be on a motorcycle together.
Because they're conspiring.
Well, well, yeah, and I think it's all because, and so that's an interesting thing, because, I was talking to when I was in Colombia, I was talking to my friend, and we were talking, I was like, women can kill people too. Like I
Right.
don't. And he was just like, yeah, I know. And it's like, so it was interesting going there and finding out that like a man cannot be a passenger on a motorcycle. Like that's what it is. Like it's like because
Unless the woman is driving.
no, if the woman is driving, it's still the case that a man cannot be the passenger.
No way, dude. That's
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
ridiculous.
So
Ugh,
ridiculous. So
this
ridiculous.
country has the most ridiculous things, I swear. Like, where did that come from? I don't
Well,
understand.
it came from all of the drive-by motorcycle shootings due to Pablo Escobar, but
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, well, he doesn't live here either. He's not from here, so. But that's interesting.
Well, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
no, I had never.
That's in Colombia. That's in Colombia.
Oh, it's not here.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, 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 no.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, we
It's
don't
still
have those
early
here.
and I haven't had my tea.
Yeah, in Colombia, like
Okay.
and just like you're saying, where it's like they search the men and they search and all of that, and there's and it just reminded me of that. It was weird little
Mm.
facts that I tucked away
Insano.
somewhere in my
Yeah.
in the deep recesses of my brain.
Yeah, you said it in English, and so I didn't realize you were talking about
Yeah.
Colombia. You're like Colombia, and I'm like, wait, Columbia? Where is that a city? Where is that?
Columbia,
Chicago?
Ohio? What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
right? Columbus. That would be Columbus. But
Yeah, right,
yeah, I
right.
didn't realize you were talking about,
Colombia.
Central America,
Yeah,
South America,
yeah.
Colombia.
En el
Okay.
país
Now I get it.
Colombia
Yeah.
tiene leyes que es muy confundo, pero
I
no.
see.
Um,
Gracias. Ay, Dios mío. See, yeah,
so
like I said, I haven't had my tea, so I'm a little slow, but I do
no,
have a number since we're here. Let's see. Let's do 18.
18.
Our son is 18. And he fell on a boat and he cracked his front teeth.
Oh my God.
I swear, like a week after graduation. And so this week they're going to fix them, right? Like, thank goodness for dentists. It's not cheap though, not cheap at
No.
all. But oh my gosh, he
If
walked in. He walked in crying like someone had died in the shower. He was like, "Oh my gosh!" And so, yeah, that's the number 18.
cracked his teeth on a
Mm-hmm.
boat, like he fell and he
Well, he
hit his
fell. He
face.
fell. Yeah, he hit his face. He hit his teeth on the edge of something.
Oh my God.
Like surfaces are hard and you just never know when or how you're going to get hurt. It's a little bit bizarre and it leaves a lot of room for paranoia, I feel like.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So there was
Hmm.
this guy. I'm gonna tell a brief little story before I read this. There's this guy in Chicago known as what was his first name? Was it Tommy Woo Woo, Johnny Woo Woo? I forget his name,
Mm.
but it was we called him Woo Woo because he was a Cubs fan. He was a homeless dude that kind of hung out around Wrigley Field, and people would let him in. People would buy him tickets to go to the games and stuff, and be like, "Cubs, woo! Cubs, woo! Cubs, woo!" Like that was what he was, and so like we called him Woo
Mm.
Woo, and and one of the shock jocks in the morning radio, because he's kind of he was like a famous person for the Cubs people. I was not a Cubs fan, but I knew about him. Bought him a new set of teeth. Like like the
Mm.
radio station bought him a new set of teeth, and within a week he got drunk, fell off a thing, and
Oh
busted
my
them all right out.
gosh. Oh, that's so annoying. Like this,
Yeah.
how dare you? I
Yeah.
swear. I mean, I feel like my husband told him, "We're gonna pay for your teeth and you better never act the fool again." Right?
Yeah, absolutely,
I mean, it's
absolutely.
four of his teeth, not just two, because
Whoa.
at this point, it's been infected and it's been a journey because he went to the dentist the very next day, but they were like, we can't work on your teeth now. You have to wait a month. We need
Yeah.
to wait for all of that to be solidified again. We can't work
Right.
on it while your teeth are loose. And so that was a slap in the face, right?
Yeah.
Confidence, 18-year-old, super handsome. My kids are gorgeous. And so it's like, oh, what a reality check, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're over here just observing it all and, tapping him in the back and saying, it's okay, we're going to fix it. But don't act the fool again. Like, what the heck? I mean, take care.
So
And
let's.
it's very terrifying. Every time Elijah falls, he fell on the carpet the other day. On our room has carpet, the rest of the house doesn't. And he fell. He wasn't even running. He literally just tripped, like with
Hmm.
something. It might have been his own foot, right? Like kids do that. and he fell and he started crying, and I'm about to be like, it's okay, you're fine, and then I see blood and I'm like, fuck my life, like what is going on? Well,
Yeah.
he broke his lip from his tooth because he fell in
Oh,
a particular way. It's not about how hard
right.
you fall, and it's not about the surface that you fall. It's like the egg can fall a particular way and not break, right? Well, the egg can also fall on another angle and it'll splash everywhere. And we are
Yeah.
the same. We are so brittle.
Yeah,
We
you
are
can
we
you
are
can you can
so
break your clavicle with like 3 pounds of pressure,
Oh,
you know,
stop it. Ooh, just
and
gave me
like, but it
goosebumps.
just has to come in at the right angle in the right
That's
way
right.
at the right spot.
That's right.
And I don't know that that's true. 3 pounds is probably a little light, but either way, it's like, like you can. I know my nephew, he broke something in his foot just because
Mm.
he turned a certain way,
Oh
like,
my gosh.
and
Yeah.
it was just the way that the pressure was applied broke
That's
it.
right.
All right,
That's
so
right.
number 18.
Thank you.
I don't know how this is going to connect, but let's see. When the great Tao is forgotten, goodness and piety appear. When the body's intelligence decline, cleverness and knowledge step forth. When there is no peace in the family, filial piety begins. When the country
Mm.
falls into chaos, patriotism is born. So for this
Mm.
one, it always, referenced to me the dissolution of
Mm-hmm.
connection to everything, and
Mm-hmm.
like you were saying, even with your son who's like, out there acting a fool, when the great Tao is forgotten, goodness and piety appear. Then when the body's intelligence declines, cleverness and knowledge step forth. He's like, he's maybe trying to show off, maybe he's trying to do something. Who knows? Maybe he's drinking, maybe he's doing some things that, like, you know,
He's
he
18, so I hope he's not drinking.
well, just to, to keep your heart clenched. I was
Right.
drinking at 13, so so not
Well,
that
I
he
mean,
is,
yeah,
not
no,
that
I
he
get
is.
it. My mom
Yeah.
sent me to get a drink when I had my fender bender at 16, but that's part of the generational
Yeah.
things we're trying to break, right? We're trying to do
Yeah.
things differently, but they're not my children, so there's not much I can do.
Right, right, right.
And he wasn't any drunk or anything when he came home with that. Although I feel like breaking your teeth will sober you up right away.
So yeah, pretty quick. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
pretty quick. But that's the thing. When the great Tao is forgotten, you go out of your way to try and be good to other people, and then when and you have to be good because you're not in touch with Tao. And then they talk about intuition, and intuition helps you be good, right? Helps you actually act in a good way. But then when
Mm,
that is lost, when that intuition is lost, then you start relying on logic, cleverness, and knowledge,
mm,
and trying to do things that will get you something.
mm-hmm. And what did you say about patriotism?
When the country falls into chaos, patriotism is born. So that's when there is so
I
much.
actually feel like in our context right now, it's because of a lot of patriotism that there's chaos. I'm just
Well, I
gonna leave
think,
it at that.
yeah, and I think that, the chaos, um, I think the chaos may have come first.
Mm,
And then
yeah.
patriotism continues to contribute to chaos. And like, as we look at this dissolution, right, like when there is no peace in the family could be neighborhood, the family could be,
Right.
Democrats or Republicans or independents or like
Right.
whatever, like any
All these
group that could be a
groups.
family,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
When there's no peace in the family, filial piety begins, meaning that now we
Mm-hmm.
are building a hierarchy. This person is on top, and then other people are underneath him who have power and access to him. And then that is like filial piety is like the father is at the top, and then the mother, and then these other things, or maybe it's the father and mother, king and queen, whatever. And then it breaks it down through the ranks, and then when a
Mm,
country falls into chaos, patriotism is born. And that
mm,
patriotism is just a shell of, you're not, you've lost goodness and piety. You've lost the Tao. You've lost intuition. You've lost so much. You're not even using cleverness and knowledge anymore. You're just relying on
mm-hmm.
patriotism.
Yeah, so much to learn and so much going on. And if you can hear my echo, I'm in the bathroom getting ready, but it's it's just so much. And I feel like it was,
Oh, boo.
yeah, yeah. We're here for him. And at the same time, I don't know if it's a boy thing, but they might never stop, doing what they're doing, acting the fool if they were. I don't even know. Because we're not there, right? They were in someone's boat having a great time, and all of a sudden it wasn't a great time anymore. And that could happen to anyone, right? That could
Yeah.
happen to me. That could happen to us. I mean, and
Yeah.
um, it's a little bit stressful to watch Elijah. He doesn't walk anywhere. He runs.
Yeah.
And I don't mean he runs like he's running for it, like
Right.
like, oh, he's a runner. I mean, like, honestly, like Forrest Gump, like everywhere I go, I was running, and he's like jogging, right? And
Yeah.
so
Just like
Elijah does that.
yeah.
Yeah, Elijah just runs, like he jogs everywhere. And so it's like, okay, honey, careful, careful. Your shoes are too big or whatever, or
Yeah.
you're running with socks, or and it's that paranoia. I feel like all moms can attest to that as well. But thank you so much, Martin John. I didn't need it to connect. I really just,
Mm,
chose 18 because that's what came to
that's what
mind. He's
happened.
gonna get
Yeah.
his, yeah, we're been a month and he'll get his teeth fixed this day. And
Oh, good.
so, yeah, life is
And you have
good.
something going on this Friday.
Um, what do I have going on this Friday? Ooh,
I think
where are
you
we going?
is it next Friday?
I don't know what you're
I
talking
know,
about.
I maybe I'm
Saturday.
mistaken. Saturday.
Saturday, Brita will be here for an interview. Yay! Thank you,
Okay.
Martin John. I love.
No sweat. Thank you so much for joining me. I am going to go back to 20 because 20 is my number today, and I wanted to revisit this again. So stop thinking and end your problems. What's the difference between yes and no? I'm just going to start going through this line by line. Um, Stop thinking and end your problems. What is the difference between yes and no? And that's such a mind blower, right? It's a mind fuck in our world of commerce, in our world of capitalism, in our world. Like, what is the difference between yes and no? Literally, it's the same, right? It's like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether someone says yes or no. This isn't a great practice to be able to embrace when you're like when you own your own business like I do and all this stuff like that. It's like no, yes and no are very different, but like the point of living is for me to experience all of this. And so this is happening right now, whatever that is. Someone says no or someone says yes. What's the difference between success or failure? Once again, like, is there a difference here? We can say yes, there is a difference. We can say, and we can point to that difference and be like, see, I'm happy or I'm sad or I'm this or I'm that. But should you be either of those things? Like should failure make you feel sad? No, it's just another experience. It's just another experience you're having right now at this moment. You're just having this experience of yes. You're having this experience of no. Check it out. Look at it. Thing is, when you have a yes experience, you celebrate it and you move on. You don't have the experience. When no happens, you get sad and you don't have the experience. But really, when you sit there and you can have the experience, stop thinking that you want one thing or another and just have this experience right now. What is happening far out, as Ram Dass would say? Far out. Look at this. They said no. My value doesn't have, and I as a human being, as someone who does want to you know earn more and do more and succeed more and all of that, right? Like, I can get caught up in all of that. I can get caught up in all of that just as much as anybody, like I can get caught up. But then I read this next line: must you value what others value, avoid what others avoid? How ridiculous. And I think about what others value and what others want, like sitting on a beach somewhere, fucking like having their big house or the big car, their big things, and their all of their stuff and all of the things. I always go, oh God, like, why? I don't want any of that. I just want to sit here quietly and just kind of experience this moment. you know I don't want any of that. And then, to muster up the strength, you kind of have to figure out how can I And that's where, like even gamifying stuff, everybody goes around, it's a game, this is a game, and you gotta, like when I was doing my cold calls, and the guy who was kind of coaching me through cold calls and stuff was like, all right, you got to make it a game, you got to get through this many calls a day, and you can make it a game, and you can give yourself points and all this kind of stuff, and I want to see you have this many points by next week. And it was just like, it wasn't fun. Like, I don't want to play a game. Like, that's the thing. What is the difference between yes and no? What is the difference between success and failure? There's no difference. Just have this experience. You don't have to make it something else. This experience right now that you're having is what is happening. Must you value what others value, avoid what others avoid? Pfft, how ridiculous. Other people are excited as though they were at a parade. That's like one of my favorite lines in the Tao. You can't use it very much because people don't get it. They're like, "Isn't it great? We're at a parade. Isn't this fun? Look at that! Look at that big Mickey Mouse. Who fucking cares? Shut your gaping mouth." like you don't have to be happy about everything. You don't have to celebrate everything in your life. Yeah, people, okay. Like everyone tells you, go celebrate. You got to celebrate your wins. Why don't you just have your wins? Why don't you just experience your wins? What do you got to celebrate everything for? Doesn't matter. So you have a win. It's nice to recognize your wins, observe your wins, see how they are affecting things. Let it go. It's not yours anyway. Right? It was done through you. You want to take credit for that? That's your ego. You want to go celebrate, go have a couple drinks? Is that what you want to do? Because like now you're poisoning yourself for that. Even getting happy can get you high. Oh, the love of my life, Andy Scarantino, ladies and gentlemen. How are you?
Well, you know how I am. I'm pretty miserable, but I'm
Yeah.
listening to this wonderful number, and I think it's great. So I just
Oh,
wanted
you
to,
want to join me?
yeah.
So here we are. Other people are excited as though they were at a parade. I alone don't care. I alone am expressionless, like an infant before it can smile.
Hmm.
Other people have what they need. I alone possess nothing. I alone drift about like someone without a home. I am like an idiot. My mind is so empty. And I like that. I like the idea of being an idiot.
I do too, and I've always wanted that. I think that's why I drank to such excess for so long. Because there's this peace that comes with just being a blithering piece of human shit. Like you don't have any, you don't have any thoughts at all. Like you
Stop
just,
thinking and end your problems.
yeah, that's the issue, and that's always been the issue. Because if you we talk a lot about being, and I find if you think about the majesty of being and you think too deeply in it, you'll realize that it's all such pointless shit. And where I'm at right now, where I just want to fucking just I pretty much want to be dead every other 5 minutes. I'm just like,
Yeah.
this is so pointless. I have money, I have love, I have a business, I don't work for anybody. My body is great. My everything's great. Okay, let's go die now. Like what's next? Where is there to go? There's nowhere to go. And you start thinking about it. And the thoughts are like dragging you into misery. Whereas like idiots are just like, isn't this great? I'm just here.
Yeah. And there is a difference between the kind of idiot I think we want to be and the kind of idiots that are going to, that are blind. It's like we want to be idiots on the other side. We want to
Is
be idiots in awareness.
is
I
there a
think.
difference though? Is there It's I don't know. I mean, it's sometimes I don't like to. I don't really know. I really don't know. I would love. It's so interesting because everybody wants something, and I want less. And one of the things I want less of is brain.
Yeah.
Like I want less ability. I'm good at a lot of things, and I think, God, this is like my own personal hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's like, and when everyone underwhelms you constantly because you're just like, look at all of you just looking at all of this stuff, and you're all just so happy sucking on your lollipops,
That's right.
you know?
Yeah. And that's, that's when there's that, and in order to get to the place, like where we're talking, stop thinking and end your problems. And, what is the difference between yes and no? What is the difference between like, like, like at this point, you're like, I don't want the lollipop,
Mm-mm.
you know? Other people are bright. I alone am dark. Other people are sharp. I alone am dull. Other people have purpose. I alone don't know. I drift like a wave on the ocean. I blow as aimless as the wind. And to get to that place, right? To get to that place where we could be there, to get to that place where we could be aimless, where we could not know, like really not know, rather than knowing and being, being, just being haunted by knowing constantly. Like
Mhm.
there's a transition in there, and that transition is really a bitch. And I think it's always happening. I don't know that it stops happening. Once you start to stop thinking, you've experienced moments of not thinking, I think. What's the difference between yes and no? What's the difference between success and failure? Must you value what others value, avoid what others avoid? I love that he just puts in here how ridiculous, because it is. It's so ridiculous to care about what other people care about. So ridiculous to be avoiding pain and avoiding discomfort.
What number is this again?
20.
What translation?
Stephen Mitchell.
How ridiculous. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. It's like the two lines in here that like really have always stood out to me as being quintessential to the Tao Te Ching is stop thinking and end your problems. Like that is like this, the entire Tao could be that line.
Right. Yeah.
Stop thinking and end your problems. Like stop thinking. It's translated in such a way. It's just like you're such a dumbass for thinking. But stop it. Just stop it. Like that video you sent me of what's his
Bob
name?
Newhart.
Yeah, Bob Newhart. Stop it. The
Just that.
stop it therapy, right?
Yeah, it's just stop it. It's
Stop it.
beautiful.
I get
Well,
upset when stop it. Stop
stop it.
it.
It was such a profound thing. Andy sent that to me, and
Yeah.
he's such a jackass, but like he doesn't really give a shit about, like, that was the one thing that I really loved about him, was that, and hated, was that he didn't give a shit at all about anything I had to say, because it doesn't fucking matter. And I think like you do that a little in your work. That's enough. Like the
Yeah. That's
story,
enough.
like the
That's enough.
story. And I do it too. And I catch myself in it, and I try to pull myself out of it. Like I had a client that would just go on for 40 minutes about what happened. And like literally no one gives a fuck.
Right.
I
Stop.
don't give a fuck about your fucking life, because your
Right.
fucking life is the problem. You keep thinking about this stupid life that you have that doesn't fucking matter. Like your thoughts are the issue. This is why people blow their brains out. They don't blow their hearts to bits, even though you'll die just as fast. And it's something that's like it's very dear to me, because I'm like, every time I think about ending my life, I think I want to put my head on a wall. I never think I want to stab myself in the chest, because what's the agitator? And it's your thinking mind. And I remember
Yeah.
I was talking to a client about this. I think I told you about this recently, about where are you in yourself? Where do you identify where you are? Because people in the East a lot of times would identify themselves as like in their solar plexus, like that area. But in the West, it's all head. It's like you're right up there, right up there. And it's like, oh God, stop. It's so stupid.
Yes. Stop thinking.
Stop thinking.
Let's spend a moment just not thinking for a moment. Right now. Not thinking gives us space.
And peace.
Yeah. It's not always easy to not think. It's not always easy to be in that space because our brains, I've described the brain as a 17-year-old boy. If you don't give him space, he's going to yell until he gets it. And if you don't listen to it, he's going to yell until you do.
Hmm. I always liked that. I liked that you always would say that, because I thought that was such an accurate description. And I've quoted you on that many times.
Oh,
Yeah, I have, because it's really it's just like a prison. Like your mind is a
hmm,
prison.
yeah. And when I work with people and I say, like if you need to think, write everything out that your brain has to say and ask it if it has anything else.
Mm.
And then say, okay, now you're done. Now I'm going to stop thinking and open my heart and I'm going to see what it says. That way you get your brain to shut the fuck up, because that's the thing we need to do. We need to get our brains to shut the fuck up. Our brains are great for some things, math problems, you know, and I know that some math problems were solved intuitively because the brain has access to all these things. We just don't have access to all of the things through our brain. We think we know shit, and the more we think we know, the more lost we get.
Yeah.
Was you value what others value, avoid what others avoid. How ridiculous.
How ridiculous.
How ridiculous. But sitting here quietly with you just a moment ago, without thinking, just gave us some space. Just a little space. A little space to be.
Ram Dass says, "Oh, you." There he goes, milking the drama again.
Yeah.
And then he'll say, "But you want to milk it more because that's what you want to do, right?" So already my brain is like, "Wow, that was really beautiful." And fuck being alive. Like,
Right.
fuck this. Fuck,
Yeah.
you're already back. You're already just
You're
like,
already back.
all
And
right, I
and
want
you
to feel
love
myself
being
again.
back,
That was
right? Because
nice.
it's comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
It's
love the
comfortable.
drama.
Like I remember, I don't know, probably 10 years ago or whatever, that I recognized I was telling a story. And then when the story was done, I would start over and start telling it again. And I recognized that I was doing this. I would tell it, and then I would tell it in a different way. Same story, about the same people or about the same feelings and whatever. It's all of the same shit anyway. And then I was like, wait a minute. Eventually, I'm going to stop telling the story and do something else. Why not? Instead of this entire fucking hour drive, I don't repeat the story over and over and I just stop. And the moment I stopped, it felt so uncomfortable. Like, no, all I got to do is finish the story. If I finish the story in my mind, then I am going to feel more at ease. I am going to actually resolve this by telling the story. And it never happened. And so I was like, okay, since I'm never going to resolve it, just stop now. And then within 20 seconds, I'd be starting the story again. I'd be like, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. You don't need to resolve this. There is no closure. Drop it. And then I
Hmm.
drop it. Within 30 seconds, I'd be starting the story again. I say, whoa. And then my brain would be tricky because then I would go a half hour and I'd be like, wait a minute. That last half hour, I was just telling that story over and over again and I didn't even know it.
It's true.
Son of a bitch.
And we
You
all do it.
son of a bitch. And so this is that 17-year-old boy. And I think that I don't know if we all do it. I know I did it. And that's really all I know. And so maybe other people do it. But when I reference it, people seem to resonate with it. And I think that that's something, that we don't need. I didn't need to resolve that story. I didn't need to actually see that story finish. What I needed to do was stop thinking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is when you said that, like that line can pretty much sum up the Tao. I always think of the Tao, the line of that sums up not the line, but the theme of the Tao is letting go. And yeah, I mean, I understand that feeling energetically, but I would love to. I don't know, you know, want to tell the story.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful story, and it can get us to feel so much, and it feels real. Gets us to feel angry or happy or sad or horny or whatever. Gets us to feel. And
Yeah,
feelings aren't, like that's you know, what we get here at the end. Like I'm different from ordinary people. I drink from the great mother's breast. Like it's not just this internal cycle of feeding off of ourselves. It is actually feeding from source. And when you stop thinking, you're feeding from source. And there is no expectation. And there is no feeling associated with that.
I think that's a good place to end, right?
Me too.
All right. Well, I love you.
I love you. Thank you for coming up and sharing 20 with me.
Thank you for letting me.
Oh, anytime. Thank you guys for joining me for Tao of the Day. I'm Martin John. If you like and benefit from the work that I do, I appreciate any sort of financial tips through Venmo at @MartinJohn_Garcia. I work with a limited number of clients one-on-one every month on the concept of recovering yourself. What that means isn't recovering something you've been, it's something you've never been, but you were born to be. When we can recover that, when you can get out from under the influence of all the other shit, then you get to be who you are. You get to be a master at being you. Thank you so much for joining me for Tao of the Day, and until next time, keep recovering yourself.